Hello, everybody. Hi. This was not planned. I don't know. I've called him now 6 times. 6 times, no response from Andy. No answer. I think he is asleep. But it's just me. And I don't know. Like I said, guys, I don't know. I've called him 6 times. We were supposed to be here, of course, on Across the Spider-Verse. And I do want to talk about the film, and he's not here to discuss it with me. So yeah, I'm here by myself. I don't know. I'm doing pretty good, Daniel. Thank you for asking. We're gonna stall for a few moments just so I can see if he's gonna actually answer. I'm calling him again. As you guys can hear, calling. So we'll see. I'll let it ring for a little bit. But I'm excited to talk about this movie, and I want to talk about this movie, but my co-host is not here to discuss said movie. But I want to talk about it. There's a lot of things. There's probably so much to talk about that it'd be kind of hard to do and by myself, but this is the 7th time, the 7th attempt. I've also messaged, because see, his Facebook says after 3 calls, then it said he was online, but I don't think he's online. I think the thing is messing up or something. I think Facebook is being finicky. See, no answer. That's the 7th attempt of a call. It says he's active now, but if he was really active, he would have answered right away, or he would have messaged, like, because he's not online. I think it's because I kept calling. I agree. It's still hitting me in terms of how good the movie was. Well, the thing is, I called him 3 times before it said that, so I don't know. Facebook's a weird thing. We're gonna give it a few more moments. If not, I'm just gonna jump in and talk about it. And if he shows up later, then we'll have to just whatever. But I don't want to wait too long to jump into it, because you guys are here to talk about the film and everything. So yeah, how's everybody's week? I'm curious to know how people are doing this week and everything. And I agree with this 100%. It is too cinematic. As it's way too cinematic, but that's a good thing. Because I think, and I agree also with your follow-up comment saying this franchise too is special. I agree, because Into the Spider-Verse was so well done that Across the Spider-Verse was able to achieve what it did because of how Into the Spider-Verse established a lot of things and how good it was. Well, Scott, that's already been shown in the marketing. So yes. Arrow, in my personal opinion. But yeah, this week was good. Okay, good. Week was good. It's been a rocky week with this movie. Hyped me up. Yeah, the movie was so good. Regardless of what's been happening in your in the week, if you're having a bad week, this movie definitely gets you excited. And I figured out how to work this terms of like a single thing, so I was able to show the background. Because if I was still doing this layout, it's just me. But now you can actually see the background that I actually made. Well, this is normal in this multiverse, but yeah. Yes, you have to watch Spectacular Spider-Man. It is so good. I didn't see exactly what he was saying. I saw something about where he was changing constantly, like changing stuff. We'll try a call again on Andy. Did Amalgam Comics Spider-Boy? I don't even know. There's so many characters in the movie, like cameo-wise. Just in case he answers. So I can hear. Still nothing. We're 5 minutes into this thing. See, I'm thinking the one phone call he did the first time he doesn't answer, because he's good at answering his phone even if he's asleep. He wakes up. So he must have not set his ringer or something on his phone, and he's not hearing it. And by the time he wakes up, the show will be over. Facebook just constantly rings. So All right, well, we're just gonna play the constant intro, guys. We're gonna jump into this thing, and we're just gonna have to wing it. You guys are gonna have to help me a little bit. Let's Constantine take it away.
All right then, on with the show.
On with the show, indeed. Now, Andy was supposed to write down a couple of questions that we were going to discuss and like answer about the film. Thank you, Jedi Prime. Thank you so much for the comment. So let's dive in. So, Across the Spider-Verse is a film that soars. It runs because Into the Spider-Verse was able to walk in order for this film to run and soar and fly. Because Into the Spider-Verse was a fantastic foundation film in terms of Miles' story, Miles' life, him becoming Spider-Man, and then all the multiversal stuff, which wasn't as much as compared to this movie, but Into the Spider-Verse was great in that aspect. Then we get into Across the Spider-Verse, which continues that trend of crazy over-the-top stuff in terms of crazy multiverse things. Of course, Spider Society, this whole idea of these spiders and all that, all these spider characters coming together to work together. And there's a lot of dark moments in this movie, a lot of deep emotional moments too, that I was actually quite surprised by, because Into the Spider-Verse is a darker type film in terms of its storytelling, but it's still like, has a certain tone to it. This film definitely goes darker and definitely goes more in line with some of the stuff in Spider-Man PS4, which had some of those darker tones as well. And Spider-Man 2 is definitely shaping up to be dark with the symbiote thing. But here, it's dark because of the idea of the canon event, that kind of, canon events, exactly, Scott. Canon events that defines a spider character, that pretty much, defines all the characters. But I really appreciated it. The one thing I wish they would have done is maybe have a mid or after credit scene, since we do have to wait for the next movie. Let's see here. I got a couple comments here. We'll kind of spawn off some of the discussion here, since we're getting into spoilers here, people. You knew that. So this was a great moment too. At first I was like, so wait, she doesn't know who Spider-Man is? It makes sense now, because there's no Spider-Man, because Spider-Man was supposed to be on their Earth, but the spider got transported. It was such a good reveal. How they played it, how they structured that scene. The ideology of how Spider-Man should be was exactly. I love that part about the film too. I really appreciated how it really delved into how a lot of spider people deal with the same kind of loss, and how that develops and grows them as their hero counterparts. It was really well done. I mean, he's barely in the movie, but this was it was funny. Yeah, this is what I kind of said in my TikTok review about it, is that this knows how to handle a multiverse versus Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which I felt like did a decent job with multiverse. It was overall, I enjoyed the film, but Multiverse of Madness could have been so much more. It could have been. But yeah, this film knows how to handle multiverse so well. I mean, they can, but we also see where if it doesn't occur, it breaks the universe. Yeah, that was pretty interesting too. Yeah. And yeah, the plot twist, yeah, there definitely was some plot twist. For sure. And yeah, the Prowler reveal was good. Exactly. It's hard to compare because I just saw the film last night versus a film that came out in December 2021. And they're obviously very different films, because we're talking about a live action multiverse type film versus an animation multiverse film. Now, if you were to say Into the Spider-Verse is Across the Spider-Verse better than Into the Spider-Verse, I think it is. I think Across the Spider-Verse is a better film. Not just with the multiverse stuff, but just in general, how they tell the story. Even though we do have to wait for part 3, and there's still a lot more story to tell, but I really liked what they did with this. Yeah, this is interesting too about the idea of like Miles, but it's also the implication is too that not every counterpart of yourself from another Earth is going to be like you or have the same emotions, have the same personality, because this Miles went down a very dark path, and has now become the Prowler. So yeah, liked when they tied into Spot being the guys Miles. Yeah, it was such a like what? Okay. Um, let's see. You know what Homecoming? Yep. One of my favorite Spider-Man films, officially. I mean, yeah, I think it's definitely one of the best ever made. There are some people saying that this is the best Spider-Man film ever made. Some people are saying this is the best comic book movie ever made. The movie just came out. It's hard to say what is the best comic book movie. Oh, it's the one that just came out. Like, hold on, like we don't know that because see, we're riding on the high of it. Who's to say that we're gonna think that that's the case? A couple of years from now or whatever. But yeah, it's really, really good. I'm curious to know, how did you guys feel about Gwen getting more of a focus in the story, about her getting more of a storyline? Because I really appreciated that, because Gwen was a great secondary character in the first film, but she is literally a co-lead in this movie. Like that's how they established it. Miles and her are a co-lead. I really appreciated more of Gwen in this movie. I really do. So is Spot going to be the villain in part 3? Yes. Yeah, that's something too. The bait and switch. Yeah, that was good. That was good. That was my first whoa, wait a minute, what? Like they're doing that because I mean, think about it. If you've seen, well, I don't. There's someone here who has seen Spectacular Spider-Man, so I don't want to spoil it. But there's a reveal in the Spectacular Spider-Man that surprised me, for sure. I loved Gwen getting more attention. Yeah, it was great. It was great to see her get more of a focus, and especially the first good chunk of the film before even the kind of opening credits is her. It's just her Earth, and everything kind of unfolding from there in terms of what happened to her Peter, and then that other version of the Vulture that was really crazy, like his look or whatever. And then of course it's where Spider-Man 2099 and Spider-Woman comes into play. Did you like yeah, that was kind of funny. That was kind of funny because I think at times comics do that. And I also know this too from reading more of actual books. There are times if a word is used that maybe isn't a traditional word that people will recognize, they sometimes will put at the bottom of a page when that word is used as a meaning for it, just in case you're like, what the hell does that mean? Not all books do that, but sometimes they do. And I know comics have done that too. Well, also what I liked about the Gwen intro sequence, which was pretty long. I was actually surprised how long it was going. The Gwen, it showed her Earth. It showed, what she was what her life is and everything. It was kind of establishing more of that, because I think it's also getting us more prepared for, because I think they said that they're doing potentially an all-female Spider film is in development or something. So, Gwen might get a lead in a movie down the road. Maybe that's what they were kind of thinking of doing. I don't know. Some bug. Get the hell out of here. Let's see. Yes. Preview kind of set the Miles reveal. If you think about it, things don't always turn out the same way. Yeah, that's true, because essentially with the Miles thing, Miles was never that's a big moment. I'm curious to know how you guys felt about how they handled it, because I thought they beautifully set that up. That the spiders from a different Earth, obviously, bit him. He wasn't meant to be bit, because Peter Parker died because of Miles. The reason why the Peter Parker of his Earth is dead is because he became Spider-Man, and it changed everything. It changed the timeline. It changed that universe. And that's why, of course, Earth 42, I think that was the right one. Yeah, Earth 42, that the spider came from, doesn't have a Spider-Man because it got stolen. I thought that was great. I thought that was a great reveal, because it's also saying the Miles we've been following that we care about from Into the Spider-Verse and now Across Spider-Verse, we've really got to learn a lot more and really care for him, and seeing him struggle with the fact, my dad's about to become captain. Oh my God, the canon event. Oh God, he's not supposed to be Spider-Man. Now, is it implying Earth 42's Miles supposed to be Spider-Man, or was supposed to be Peter? There's no way for sure, but maybe the implication is the Miles we're seeing as Prowler was meant to be Spider-Man on Earth 42, but our Miles from the Earth we've been following is the one who got it instead. That's crazy. If that's what they're doing is. Yes, see, watch Spectacular Spider-Man. It's phenomenal. Yes, that was crazy. Yes. There's no Spider-Man on Earth 42, then couldn't a different Marvel. I mean, yes, I think so, because they're not. I don't think they're saying there's no heroes anywhere. I just think they're saying there's no Spider-Man specifically there in New York. But yes, the Avengers realistically, but the thing is, they don't really. The only time they really referenced any hero outside of the Spider people was Doctor Strange. Of course, that little throwaway line very fast in the opening. It's like, Doctor Strange and that kid, like, we know what they're referring to. Obviously, No Way Home. But other than that, like, so the implication is there are other heroes. It's just we're not focusing on them. But I'm pretty sure there are other heroes, or maybe there is no hero. Maybe in Earth 42 there is no Avengers. Maybe there are certain heroes, but they're specific to their location. And maybe New York was supposed to have a Spider-Man, and they never got a hero. Maybe that's what it is. Mayday was fun. Mayday was funny. I liked her in the film, even though she didn't obviously do anything, but it was just funny to see Peter have to deal with being attacked. You like Spider-Punk in such a great way. I was kind of taken back by it. They used the core of his character. Yeah, that was something I really liked too, is that I thought Spider-Punk was just going to show up in Spider-Man India's world. I thought he was just showing up just to be a part of it, and his score, or hey, here's Spider-Punk, not realizing he actually plays an important role, important narrative role in the third act, and how integral he is to Gwen getting her own team together. So if Miles wasn't supposed to become Spider-Man, would he have had a different story or a similar story? That's my guess too. I don't know. Miles could have, if Miles didn't get bit by the spider, would he have become a version of Prowler or something else? It's possible, because the timeline would have shifted if he never got bit by that spider. Like, that's what the implication there that Miguel, Spider-Man 2099, was trying to say, is that when you got bit by the spider, that changed everything, because Peter Parker, he died. Your Spider-Man on your Earth died. And then and then Spider-Man from Earth 42 never happened. You weren't meant to be bitten. So maybe Miles Earth 42, the Prowler version, was meant to be Spider-Man. Maybe that's what they're. I guess we'll find out as we watch the film. Spider-Punk is great. Like, that one little line Spider-Punk said to Mayday about crapping on the establishment. I dig it, because she took a crap. I thought that was funny. Yeah, the TVA would be pissed. Yeah, the TVA, they're not going to be involved, though, but that's funny. The movie was amazing, but the ending, I was, what the fuck, no bit. Yeah, that's thing, too. Yeah, I mean, and the thing is, I said this in my TikTok video, and I'll say it here, too. If the third film, Beyond the Spider-Verse, which I'm curious why it's called Beyond the Spider-Verse, I wonder if it's like, are we start diving into some other crazy shit, like beyond what we kind of know? And I think that's what they're implying maybe with the title. But if Beyond the Spider-Verse is better than Across the Spider-Verse, if the third film is better than the second, and in my opinion, the second's better than the first, Beyond the Spider-Verse is going to have a huge achievement, because I think Across Spider-Verse is easily one of the best comic movies ever made. I'm not saying of all time, but ever made. And so if they can pull off the third film being better than this, that's going to be insane. The 3 years of flawless animation. Exactly. It took them so long to get that down, but it was so good. As the multiverse. Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know. Because it's all about timeline it's all different, Same here. Question to people, okay, about the Donald Glover Prowler cameo. Is this, I'm just curious, because they did confirm this as far as I could see. Is this Prowler the MCU's Prowler? Because we did see him in Homecoming before he became Prowler, clearly, it seems. Are they implying with all, because time has passed since Homecoming, many years have passed. Is this the MCU's Prowler? Could be. Just really surprised me how they utilized the combination of both making fun of Spider-Buck's characterization and making it important. Yeah, they handled it all well, though. They handled it really well. Possible future Prowler. I mean, yeah, that's the thing too. I mean, obviously, I think if he's not the MCU Prowler, obviously he's another live action Prowler. And the thing is, what that cameo, and of course, when Spot goes to Venom's world and talks to that woman at the store, I think what they're implying is that there is that they can, even though we saw archive footage of Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, and they also showed shots of Toby at points, but it was like not focused on like Andrew, but they had a Toby shot at one point in one of the spider webs. That we could see live action spider people in the next film. We could, because they've already established that it can be done because they've already showed in person Miles interacts with Prowler, Donald Glover, right? And then, of course, we see the archive footage of when Ben dies from Andrew Garfield's Peter's world. So they've already set up that live action Spider-Man can be involved. And I think that's what they were trying to set up, is that it can happen because they've already done it. You know? So let's try to call him again, shall we? Let's see. Says he's still active. Let's try calling him again. Watch him answer this time. Not the MCU Prowler, but a variant of the MCU Prowler. That's probably true. I mean, I think it's a variant, obviously, but it could be MCU because we've not seen him. Still ringing. The last time he was in here was for his birthday stream, and he showed up like an hour late.
Hello.
Andy, you're late to the stream, dude.
Oh shit, my alarm didn't go up. I'm coming.
There you go. He's coming. Yeah. 10 times the charm, exactly. Spot was great. Yeah. Really good. Beyond ends up as amazing as Into and Across, and I think it's going to go down as one of the best. Exactly. I think, William, I agree 100%. If they were able to pull out Beyond as well as Into the Spider-Verse and Across, and things, it's not going to be just a trilogy. Now, the storyline they've been establishing with Miles might be a trilogy, but they're going to do more Spider because they've already established the Spider Society, all those characters. There's so many potential possibilities with future films. Like I said, I think they're setting up a Gwen film or a Gwen team-up movie. Because actually, I swear I read somewhere they were thinking of an all-female Spider like film, like a team-up type thing. And I think when Spider Society has been established, they could do that. Here we go. Hello.
I am so sorry, everyone. I will explain. I took a nap and my alarm didn't go off. Yes, I am definitely I got sucked into the Spider-Verse. Oh yes, memories. Yes, I'm sorry, guys. I was up since 5 a.m. like cleaning the whole apartment, finishing schoolwork, and then having the loveliest time with my theater today, which was fun. So I apologize that I'm late. I apologize.
Yeah, we've kind of jumped all over the place. We've already talked about the ending and everything. We've just been, because I really didn't have a setup. Because
again, I'm sorry. This is what happened when Andy gets really exhausted. So
Oh, that's a good question. So we were talking about the Spider Society because we were talking about the idea of maybe Gwen, because I think I read something about they're thinking of doing an all-female Spider film within this continuity or within the franchise. And the idea of like Silk Spider Society is the subtitle, Spider Society. So are they implying? I don't remember seeing Silk. I bet there was a Silk somewhere.
Yeah, I'm going to buy this movie and put it on my big screen, and then just pause.
I'm going to guess that it's not a Silk. Because I'm assuming there was a Silk somewhere. I'm assuming it's not because since we've already talked about it. But I'm curious to know now that this is something new here with the Silk thing. They've already established they can do live action, and then the live action characters don't change in the animation because the Prowler cameo is live action. And Andrew Garfield's Ben's death is archival footage that's live action. They did not change it to animation.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Silk is probably going to be part of Spider Society, but we'll never actually see her transfer over unless it's in a film. Because in the show, they're not going to be able to have a budget to pull off some of her going into an animation world or something. I feel like it's going to be, she has the wristband or like the watch type device, but we're not going to see her go through into an animated world or something. She might go to live action worlds. That'd be kind of cool, but not animation. Maybe she's a part of some sort of subsection that deals with live action worlds since they're different. I don't know. Because, we saw Lego Spider-Man talk to Miguel at one point. Hey, Jennifer. Hello.
Hi, Jennifer.
Hey.
Good to see you.
Oh, but
That's
so
I've never heard of Spy Society in the comics, so I wonder, like, when they said it in the film, I'm like, well, there's a show coming up.
yeah,
Like,
I didn't even connect till that was brought up there.
it feels intentional. That it definitely feels
Yeah.
intentional that there's something going on. Because, I mean, the thing that was so weird is that they still haven't really said whether or not because we know there's a Silk show coming, Spider-Man Noir, but they still haven't said if it's gonna be part of, like, Sony's, like, Spider-Man universe movies, like Venom and so on. But, like, this, after
Mhm.
seeing this film today, I'm like, I think there's something going on here that we're not supposed to know yet.
It's possible. I'm gonna make this a little smaller. There we go. Boom. That's a little better. Save new layout. Okay. Sweet. Okay. Let's see. I gotta change it over. Boom. There we go. Okay. Wait,
Oh,
did that work?
is this a new feature?
Yes. Did it work right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, so the drop down was still for me, so I couldn't see. Okay. Okay. That's a little better. Okay. But yeah, I have all those photos there. I thought that was cool. I added like another layer, so I was like, let's add all these photos in here. Overall thoughts about the film before we continue to keep diving into spoilers. I'm just curious because you saw the film today. I saw it at 5-ish my time last night in a pretty packed theater. And I didn't tell you this part. I'll tell you later. But there was a kid that was in front of me that couldn't stop moving, and at one point was standing in his chair, blocking the screen.
Oh.
So, yeah, that kid was too young. That kid was too young to be there. Not for the film, just in general. That kid should not be going to see films. He's too young because he couldn't stop moving. But what were your overall thoughts?
I mean, after everything we've been seeing from trailers and clips and everything, like, you could tell, okay, this movie is about to be bonkers. And I mean, it's hard for sequels to outdo its first film sometimes, but man, this one, Across the Spider-Verse, really did it. It won. Like, it took all the W's. There's a shout out for you, Julian, because this is how he always talks. Um, he makes me feel so old.
Yeah.
But I love you. But I mean, I'm so glad that that the film was delayed the way it was, so that they could really take the time to really complete and finesse everything.
Mm-hmm. It was. Do you think it's better than Into the Spider-Verse?
Yes,
Okay.
and that's not to diminish what Into the Spider-Verse did, because I think that it set the stage, and it also raised the bar for what we can do with not just superhero movies, but also just
Yeah.
animated film in general. But it's just the fact that, again, 'cause like, if you look at those two films back to back, you can tell that they took extra longer time on, because this film has it's so visual because of all the world we go to, because of all the characters we meet, and, like, this is a franchise that I'm okay with. Like, if we only get one of these films like every 3 years, or something like that, I'm perfectly fine with it, because it means they take their time. They take their time,
Mm-hmm.
and to make sure that we get something really special. Because I think that maybe that's why we talked about it before, is that I think some of the MCU films have started dipping in quality because they're rushing the VFX, or they're changing the ending quickly, whatever, and so on. So it's yeah.
Well, I'm also like wondering, like, I think based off the box office it's going to have this opening weekend, just over in international versus the first film. Like, obviously, we're getting the third film next year, but I'm thinking as soon as the writer strike is done, they're going to start working on. They're going to get prepared for and try to get the next one out, or whatever next story they're doing out faster. Obviously, not rushing it, but like, this is a franchise that is going to be very, very good for Sony, because right now with the talks of Spider-Man 4 with Tom Holland, that's still going to be a co-production with Marvel Studios. So,
Hmm.
this is Sony's thing that they're going, and I think that's why, because we actually discussed on the phone earlier briefly about that's probably why they didn't use Tom, because they only focus on Toby and Andrew because Tom is co-production with Marvel, and they really only focused on their iteration of Spider-Man that they created solely on their own. I feel like that's the reason why we didn't see Tom, because I feel like they could have had Tom easily in here, but we also had so many other Spider characters they were kind of highlighting, whether it's a quick shot or giving a little time, like Spectacular Spider-Man. It was really well done how emotional it was. And I said this in my review. I don't remember if I told you this on the phone, but Into the Spider-Verse walked so this movie could run and soar and fly, because Into the Spider-Verse had to do all this establishing work, and since it was so good and everyone loved it, that this movie could go as insane as it does because they've already established it all. Like, they don't have to worry about, oh, we got to spend all this time, even though we spend a good quality amount of time, like 20 minutes with Gwen in the opening. That's because they've already established Gwen. We already loved that character. Now we get to see her world and what happened to her Peter, which, how did you feel about the reveal that he was a version of the Lizard?
Well, we knew that from the first film, but I'm glad that it wasn't as black and white as they made it out to be. You know, because like in the first film, it's just kind of like, oh, she's, you know, like he's just evil and he just died. But here it's like there was something more going on. You know, he didn't want to be bad, and I got so annoyed with Captain Stacy. I got so annoyed with Captain Stacy at first. Um, so that's why I'm really happy that they actually had the come around in the end. But in the beginning, I was like, really? You're gonna arrest your own daughter, and you don't even know you don't even have evidence that she actually supposedly killed Peter. So I just yeah.
Thank you for the super chat. So they need to delay movie 3 until after the writer's strike. I don't want Spider-Verse to get the Bay Formers treatment, namely the second revision of the Fallen. Well, don't worry, because these two films in Across and Beyond the Spider-Verse, both the one that just came out and the next one, they were written a long time ago. Don't worry. There's no trust me, if that movie was being delayed because of the writer's strike, we would have heard about it, because they've been in post-production. Well, I mean, it's kind of weird. It's production and post-production at the same time because it's animation. So, but don't worry. The film is in good hands. I mean, based off what this film accomplished and elevated from the first film, it's going to be fine. It's going to be golden.
Yeah. I definitely think it's I think Spider-Verse, Beyond the Spider-Verse, I think it's already been made. So like it's
they're just touching it up right now and still working on it probably. But I mean,
I'm sure that maybe the composing is probably something that they're doing this year at least. They're
probably doing touch-ups and adding everything, whatever little things into it. Let's talk about the spectacular of it all. Let's talk about a certain little character, which you pointed out was short, which I didn't think about it, but you are right. He is short in that sequence. But Spectacular Spider-Man got a lot of highlights when it comes to the multiverse side of it in terms of Spider Society, because they could have easily had that quick shot of him, but they instead, show more of him in the spider webs, and they have him, of course, speak a very important line to Miles when Miles is like really questioning everything. How did you feel about it?
I mean, for me, as someone who loved the show and was always angry at that the show got scrapped after only 2 seasons, in a lot of ways, it gave me a little bit of peace knowing that already knowing that he's out there, he's still fighting crime and he's still protecting the world. But the fact that he eventually, got to meet these people and got to meet the larger Spider Society, knowing that he never gave up. So for me, it did give me a little bit of peace. Again, now would I love a season 3? Yes, of course, because I don't know what the fuck they're doing with these Spider-Man cartoons these days. Like Ultimate, we know Ultimate Spider-Man, we know Marvel Spider-Man. Hey, we don't even know anything about when Spider-Man Freshman is coming out. So
Oh, that's a good point, because that ain't till next year.
I don't know.
'Cause
I don't know anymore.
I don't know, because I mean X-Men 97 was delayed till early next year. So I don't know. That's a good question. Who's to
So,
say?
but yeah, I'm happy for Josh Keenan. That he got to do something. I'm hoping maybe we will see him a little bit more in the third one, as somehow, some way. But
Do you think the version of him we saw in this movie was the version of Peter after he's already dealt with what was the planned 5 seasons that Greg wanted to do? Like, this is him after all of that, because with the whole idea of setting up Carnage, they were having more Hobgoblin. I think this is the Peter who is a little bit older, who's already dealt with what was planned for his character. I don't know.
if it is, I'm hoping that they did kind of check with Greg Weisman to kind of get his blessing a little bit, because
Yeah.
it's because
I'd like to know if
is-
he posts. I don't know. I know Josh has talked about it. I don't know if he's talked about it.
Because I don't think, because I remember when because he even said, I think, on Twitter long ago, that he didn't even know that they were doing Spectacular Spider-Man in the in that film. But
Yeah. He did retweet signed a signed 2-disc collector set of Spectacular Spider-Man season 1, but I'm not seeing anything, because he likes to respond to people.
yeah, no, he's very good on being on Twitter. Yeah, maybe he hasn't even seen the film yet. So hopefully by next week at least we will know.
Yeah, I'm hopeful that they did reach out, because since it is his character, like his version of the character. Okay, so we had talked about this briefly. So how did you feel about all of the spider characters they threw in to kind of highlight how massive this is? Because I was like, there's so many here.
Again, when the film comes out, like I can't wait to buy it, and like just so I can pause and frame, pause and frame, pause and frame. Um, I understand again why this film took so long to come out. But yeah, yeah, I mean, obviously I had to go on Wikipedia to see, like, like if there was a list of like which characters were in there, and I mean, I thought it was really cool to see Spider-Man Unlimited, and the fact that he looked so much better here than he did on his own show. Again, that show came out like in the early 2000s, so yeah, of course, animation wasn't at its best back then. So, but then when I saw him like in the film, I'm like, well, now suddenly I don't mind his costume, because I was always like, why the fuck does Spider-Man have a cape? Spider-Man should never have a cape. So, but yeah, it all went by a little too quickly for me to know how many were in it I recognized. But
Yeah.
it was really, really cool.
Well, we're covering up the image, but I wanted to try to see if it's going to full screen. Yeah, so here, so like this, obviously, this is an amazing shot here. Of course, we have Spider-Man, Indio, Gwen. We got, of course, Spectacular Spider-Man on the right. We have Spider Werewolf or whatever next to him. Of course, on the other side, like you had a version of Spider Woman, Ben Reilly, which Spider-Man PS4. Of course, you have all. Is that a Carnage Spider behind Ben Reilly? I think, or is that like a?
I thought it was Mad Spider.
I mean, it could be. Of course, you have the Bagman or whatever. You have Jessica Drew behind Bagman. Spider Punk. Of course, I like the fact that Spider Punk has that yellow aura around him too. Like there's so many. It's insane. People they're just talking to themselves in the chat.
Guys, we're focusing on
we're
focusing on Spider-Verse 2 tonight. We're not really focusing on the Flash.
What was something that happened that really surprised you, whether it's a story point or a character thing?
It was definitely Miles as Prowler.
Oh yeah.
Because again, even though I always felt like we could have always seen a possibility, I didn't think we were gonna get it so early in the franchise. Like I thought it'd be like, oh, this will be the twist for the third film or something. But Donald Glover
Oh yeah.
as Prowler, I'm really, if that is the Marvel Studios version of that character, I really want to know how Kevin Feige is gonna be like. Um, I didn't know Amy was gonna do that. I
I
didn't know.
was. I mean, they could
How
easily
funny
just
would it
say,
be? What funny would it be if he was just like, I didn't know he was in this.
yeah. I'm pretty sure that they could just say he's not the MCU version. In terms of the product thing, so we actually discussed this earlier before you jumped in, and I'm curious how you feel about it. So, as I'm assuming you like, how did you? First of all, how did you feel about Miguel kind of revealing to Miles that he was never meant to be Spider-Man, that it was all a mistake?
I got really. I will admit it. Miguel is. He's really unlikable. I mean, he's supposed to be unlikable, but like, it was hard to wrap my mind around the fact that people were following this man so easily. So when he's saying all of this, when he's saying all of this, I'm like, okay, I can understand the idea. Okay, he wasn't supposed to, but the fact that he wasn't even willing to embrace Miles for it, of like, you don't want this. Okay, this wasn't planned, but here we are. Let's work out. Let's find out a way to work together.
Mm.
And instead, just turning on him and just like essentially you're just telling him like, you're not worth it. You don't deserve it. You should you don't you're not a spy. You're not Spider-Man material. Yada 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 yada. It's yeah, like that's why I'm like, it's like okay, but like there's the fact he is like the one that he's putting him on this pedestal of like, oh, I get to tell people who should be Spider-Man. Like again, this whole idea of like everything destiny is set in stone. It's just Miguel can go fuck himself.
Well, the reason why I asked because so it was brought up in the chat, and I was kind of thinking about it. So, is the implication that our Miles was bitten by the spider? Of course, it was taken from Earth 42. He got bitten by that spider that caused the effect of Peter Parker from his Earth to die. Are they implying? Is it going to be confirmed and revealed that Miles from Earth 42 was the one supposed to be bitten, and not Miles from our Earth that we're following, and that since he didn't get bit by the spider, he didn't become Spider-Man. He became the Prowler.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm thinking, is that what they're kind of implying?
Think about it this way: what if Earth 42 Miles, if he had gotten bitten, but he still used it for evil?
Yeah, that's true too. So they could imply that he would have actually used it for bad and evil versus what our Miles is doing with it. And maybe that's going to tie into the narrative later. Because
I hope so, because I almost wouldn't be surprised if the third film, kind of like what we got here with a sequel, it opens up with from Earth 42 Miles' point of view. Like, my name is Miles Morales, and I was supposed to be bitten by that spider.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I think you agree with this. Miguel needs a reality check and head smack. Thank you.
Yes.
For the super chat. I mean, because the thing is, the Spot is the villain, but you also had to have, because imagine if Miles just accepted his father's death, just even though he wouldn't do that. Imagine if he did. Then you would have the entire Spider Society going after Spot and take him down. It's too simple of a story. This is why I think Into the Spider-Verse and Across Spider-Verse are so good, is because it doesn't go the simple route. Because how simple it would have been, because Miles even dreams about telling his parents.
The movies will be over.
Yeah, well, like he dreamed about telling his parents who he was, and they go, "We love you, and nothing will change, even though you lied to us for a year." Like, imagine if Miles told his mom in that moment before she sent him away, when he is still grounded, but she says, "Go after her." Imagine if he would have told her at that moment who he was. That would have changed his timeline. but would that have made the film easier? Maybe. I don't know. So instead, he reveals himself to the wrong mom, which is crazy. Like, how did you feel about how they structured the reveal that he's on the wrong Earth? Because I felt the way the pace that it was so good.
It got so nerve wracking that like you know, like how like like when you for some people, like when you think about heights, and you get so intimidated that your feet start hurting. That's what happened here. Like I was like in pain of like, there's something wrong. There's something really wrong here. This is not going right. And then once Prowler showed up, I mean once Uncle Aaron showed up, I'm like, oh no, this is like, yeah, go on.
Yeah, are they also like, they're obviously making it clear that his dad died on Earth 42? Is that why he went Prowler and not Spider-Man? Because there was no spider bite to make him go the other way.
Yeah, I don't think this Prowler that we see in Earth 42, I don't think he's supposed to. He's not evil, but he's basically what Batman is to that world.
Speaking of Batman,
give me 1 second.
Okay.
Keep talking. I'm still listening. I'm still listening. Go on.
Okay, so I watched Scooby-Doo Mission Incorporated today for Tuesday, and I was laughing so hard because they brought in the Blue Falcon and Dynomutt, which is the duo characters of Hanna-Barbera, like the crime fighters, and they made Blue Falcon, who was voiced by Troy Baker, they made him very Batman. And Dynomutt was still goofy Dynomutt, but it was just funny how they were doing that.
It was all meant to be. He was supposed to be in Scooby-Doo, and eventually was supposed to become a Joker.
Like he literally became the Joker after this episode, and then he, of course, eventually voiced Batman in the Telltale Batman games. Did
you play those games?
Yes, I did.
Are they good?
I think so. I think the Telltale games get a bad rap because sometimes their frame rate, they have some frame rate issues. But I would say in terms of storytelling where you can massively change your outcome, I really dig it. Dr. Smarty Pants, thank you for the super chat. I like your name. Theory Beyond Spider-Verse will be Miles in the MCU. No, I don't think that's what they're doing. I think now, okay, what do you think about what does the Beyond the Spider-Verse title refer to? Like, are they implying we're going to an Earth that doesn't, because we're technically on an Earth that doesn't have a spider. So
I mean, I think there could be something MCU related going on here. Again, I don't think it will be big, and if there is, it would be with Tom somehow.
Not with anybody else, even though they reference Doctor Strange.
Yeah, I mean, how funny would it be if somehow like he showed up and he shows up somehow he ran to the Sam Jackson. That's
well, I mean, do you think they might open? I mean, Marvel would have to approve, but I mean, it's animation, so I guess they would just pay the rights. But could they be implying that they might incorporate other non-Spider characters into this if it's called Beyond the Spider-Verse? Because it was mentioned, like, okay, so New York City and Earth 42 with no Spider-Man because the Spider was taken away from that Earth. Like, are there other heroes like Avengers or whatever? It's like, maybe on this Earth there is no Avengers. Maybe there's just heroes, but they're designated to their city, and that there is no.
Maybe there's like X-Men or.
Yeah, but could they potentially bring in a Doctor Strange from another animated world that maybe Gwen goes to? Could they bring in a Captain America? It's animated. Marvel owns the rights, but I mean, Sony, they own this. Of course, they own the Spider stuff, but could they realistically do it? Yes.
Yeah, I think there's definitely something going on here, and I think like it would be kind of funny, like you know how they do in intros of in association with Marvel. If it says in association with Marvel Studios.
Yeah, that may if that pops up, they might also announce it ahead of time if they were to do something.
Yeah, because they're
already because it is Amy Pascal who's working with Marvel for the Tom stuff. She's the one who, because her name popped up, Amy Pascal Productions on Spider-Verse. So it's not too far out of the reach to where, okay, Kevin, let's talk about Tom Holland stuff. Okay, let's talk about Spider-Verse stuff. because we're incorporating the Toby and Andrew. Maybe they're saving some of that stuff for the third film, because we've also mentioned, what about the '90s Spider-Man? Nowhere to be seen.
That's the thing that annoys me the most. It's like, okay, if you can make all these other things happen, how difficult was to get him in there? So, like, unless, like, because I'm sure the actor would have loved to come back. So unless if it's a rights issue because the show it aired on Fox, and then now we know Fox is owned by Disney. I wonder if just.
I mean, it also could be they're waiting for the third film. I'm hoping that's what.
That's I'm hoping too.
Because the voice actor, he has voiced Spider-Man, not that exact version, but he's voiced an alternative Spider-Man in a mobile game that came out a year or two ago. Because the voice of Iron Man from Earth Minus Heroes, he voiced Iron Man for that game, and he was talking about it in my interview with him. And I remember something about the voice actor of the '90s Spider-Man voiced a Spider-Man from a cutscene or something. So it's like, oh my god, it's him! Like, you can tell it's him based on the voice. I don't know. I'm hoping they do something with that, because I mean, they literally had that at one point. They had that classic Spider-Man from the comics swinging by, kind of in like a stop motion thing, where he's just kind of.
That was so funny. Yeah. Because it's like, because obviously kids are seeing this film. Yeah. But they don't know what it means for us who have kind of either grown up with these things or already seen it. Yeah. This film, I cannot wait to buy it. And again, just put it on my TV and then just play and pause, and just see who else was in there.
Yeah, because that once the thing goes on digital, people are gonna immediately find. And there's probably going to be somewhere like on Reddit or whatever, they're going to have a full list of every single Spider character who ever appears in this movie. And I think it's, how long did it take for them to go through and do all of those characters?
Yeah, I mean, the first film came out in 2018, so obviously they've had 5 years.
Insane. Anything in particular you wanted to talk about that we haven't covered? I mean, I'm not surprised how dark the movie is, but at the same time, I mean, I think it had to be in terms of its story.
Yeah. I think other superhero films are going to need to take a lesson from Spider-Verse. Yeah. But yeah, yeah, that's exactly what that's gonna be everyone in a nutshell. Also just I also want people to listen, to watch it and listen to the score to probably see if there's Easter eggs there too.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Like the idea of having the music, like what would that do? Even though he is infuriating because that's what he's supposed to be, Oscar Isaac did a great job playing Miguel. Like.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that could have messed it up if he started went into, hello, Miles, my name is Stephen Grant.
He should have. He should have just made you mad. Yeah. Oh, it's not Ben Reilly. Fucking.
Oh, I love
my past, man.
I love Andy Samberg. He was not right for this. The voice was wrong. And the writing was wrong because Ben Reilly isn't like this. They took Ben Reilly so unserious, not serious. I'm watching. He's the one who's looking at a spinoff, and I'm like, oh great.
That would be funny if he's the one out of all of them. And I was actually surprised that he was one that was picked by Miguel to go to.
I wonder what Miguel saw in him when he was like. Oh yes,
I love the moment with Mayday when she first pops in, because at one point Miguel's holding her and his face has not changed once. He's just like done with it, but he's just holding her. And Peter's just like talking. He's like, Spider-Punk. Spider-Punk was so
good. Hobie is my dude. Like, I freaking loved him. I wouldn't be surprised if he is someone who gets his own spinoff somehow.
I also like the fact that with Mayday, he's because she takes a crap and Peter smells it and he's like, to crapping on the establishment. I dig it. That's such a line that he would definitely say. And I also like the fact that he's the one that plays a pivotal role in the third act in terms of helping Gwen assemble her own spider team, which included the characters we didn't get to see in this movie that was in the first one. Spider-Man Noir, Spider-Ham, like they were there. So that, I think that's implying they're definitely coming back. Nicolas Cage is definitely back. John Mulaney is Spider-Ham. Like they're all going to be back for the third film because you can't tease that and then don't have them voicing the characters
and having them just be quiet.
Yeah, that would be really dumb.
Yeah, you know what they will do? They will do what they did today in the theater. They will have their audios delayed. Good Lord. I was so angry because I'm like,
it's a part of the film experience.
Oh yeah,
that's what the filmmakers intended.
Yeah, I know. You good?
Yeah, I was just reading. Let's see how my Across the Spider-Verse audience reaction is doing. In 5 hours, it's gotten 2,300 views.
Damn.
Nice. Okay, I'll take it. It's doing pretty well. Maybe Miguel isn't Miguel. He could be Norman Osborn. I mean,
written by Todd Hubbing.
That would be a reveal. Can you imagine? I don't think so, though. But I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we meet a Norman Osborn in the third film. It could be possible. Anything's possible, I guess. I mean,
yeah, the chat is y'all like y'all clearly needed to talk more about the Flash. Apparently, like you know,
yeah, apparently so. Apparently, well, I think some of these people weren't here last week, or if they were, they I don't know. I can't keep up with all the nonsense. It's just been a crazy week. I'm just happy I got through my my meeting. I'm just happy I survived that. Yeah, it's been a crazy week. I'm just ready to relax. That's what I'm ready.
Yeah. Clearly, that was what my body was telling me of like, you just want to sleep.
I was predicting because we were in the show. I'm like, oh, he's gonna wake up after the show's over. That's what's gonna happen here.
when you called me, was that like the 5th time you've tried calling me?
Oh, let me actually see. How many times did I call you? I messaged you once too. So I called before the call I sent you 8 times. The 9th time was the charm. Someone said 10th time, but I didn't call 10. I called 9 times. You answered on the 9th call. I called at 9. I messaged you at 9. I'm ready. I'm excited. I was already here. Called twice at 9:03, 9:05, 9:06. Are you awake? 9:07. And then in the middle between 2 calls, I said I'm starting the show. I was calling you during the intro. Yeah. And then I called you on stream twice. And then finally the 3rd time you answered. So, yeah.
No good. I just that was my body just hitting its exhaustion point. Again, I thought I put on an alarm, and if it never went off. But yeah, I literally the whole I started cleaning in the morning, and then I completed my final school assignment, and then I kept cleaning, and then I went to the theaters, and then we had to sit there for almost 40 minutes waiting for them to fix the damn problem. But big shout out to the theater crew who fixed it. They gave out vouchers to everyone afterwards, for free popcorn and soda the next time they visit a theater.
That's good.
Yeah.
They compensated you guys.
They definitely compensated us. Again, my right after this show, I'm going straight to bed, and then probably not gonna wake up till Monday.
I liked how they call them canon events because that's realistically what it is. Because if you read any Spider, I mean, they even had it in the Spider T-Rex comics where Spider T-Rex got bit by, you know, of course, a prehistoric spider, and then he had a love interest that was kind of like Gwen Stacy. So it was the same kind of thing. There's certain things like that too. And I think there's even a Venomousaurus Rex. So like there has been an Eddie Brock of that world. It's insane. I wish they would like. I want to learn more about Spider Cat though. Besides the hairball that was a web, I want to know more about Spider Cat. That's just me. Here's a good question. Any predictions for the next film? Well, I'm expecting things to happen.
Yeah, I expect the movie to be a movie.
What? No, Andy's predicting that the movie will hopefully play and not have any audio delay issues.
Oh, good lord.
That's what Andy's predicting.
And the fact was that everyone was like initially like, you know, because I thought like, oh, am I alone? Like, is no one noticing this? But then I started like seeing people like they're whispering more, and I'm like, oh, they know what's happening. They understand that something has happened. Something has gone horribly wrong.
Yeah, there's also, I think, remember one time too. So I told you about the one time where a fire alarm was pulled. I think another time I was seeing a movie, there was random points where there was like a flickering, and this was like another theater entirely. There was like a flickering on the screen where it seemed like the bulb in the projector was kind of starting to go out, so it was kind of flickering a little bit. It wasn't to the point where it was unwatchable. It was like you could just notice that something was wrong. The Spot, clearly.
The Spot, he was really good. He was I think it was a really good villain.
Oh yeah. It definitely was definitely pretty well done for that. So are we just want to go into Q&A?
Let's do some Q&A before I pass out.
Yeah, Q&A, guys. Let me switch this to
ask us question over fucking leave.
Oh, ask Q&A. Ask us questions or we'll fucking leave. All right, so we're here.
Yes.
We're alive.
I
think. I don't know what I'm going to do after I get done with this. I don't know. I think I should read, though. I haven't read in a couple days. I need to read. Get a book done. That's what I need to do. Let's see. Of course, we'll put it on with the Flash. I wasn't going to mention this till we got to Q&A when you were here, but they released the full series Blu-ray cover of the Flash. So,
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, you saw it? Okay. I mean, as long as you saw it.
I think it's horrible looking.
Yeah, I responded to it. I responded to it. I'll read the tweet. We don't have to talk about it. I just want to read it because I love my response. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Just saw a tweet about this and I posted the photo. This is ridiculous. Frost over Caitlyn. No Cisco in all caps. Barry looks odd in this. He looks kind of strange. And of course, the seal had to be in the front. Then all caps. Thank God for no chill snore. Because they could have fucking did that too. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, hey, what's it like not having a lot of shows to react to every week? That's a good question.
Liberating.
Well, I mean, I still have 3 shows on top of Superman and Lois. Like, I still have Scooby-Doo on Tuesdays. Well, they release on Tuesdays. X-Men Evolution now replacing the Batman on Saturdays, and then Ben 10 on Sundays. Shelby made a joke because we actually went out for a walk after she got home on Wednesday, and I didn't even think about the fact that it was Flash. So we got back from the walk. We're exhausted, and so we're standing there letting the breeze hit our face because the wind wasn't blowing. We were walking, of course. But as soon as we get back, we're about to go. God, the wind's going crazy. So okay, we're enjoying it. And she's like, "Well, we got to hurry up and eat food. You got to be ready at 8." I'm like, 8? Like I was confused what she was talking about. She's like, I didn't think about it. But yeah, it's strange. But at the same time, it is kind of like, yeah, it's nice to have a consistency in terms of like, okay, I know that this is going to get me views. This is going to get me some engagement on the video, get some comments, maybe new subscribers. But it also opens up the door for me to cover other stuff or do something else or relax.
Yeah, because eventually, your Sundays will get busy again with all the HBO shows.
Yeah. How do you rank Across Spider-Verse compared to other comic movies? Well, I mean, it's hard to rank because number one, it's not live action like the majority of them are. Plus, it just came out.
Yeah, this is a question I think we can revisit later. Because I wouldn't even be able to think of other comic movies right now. So
And you might say yes, but someone had asked, saying, "Is this better than No Way Home?" And I said, "Well, they're two different films. They do with multiverse, but you're talking about 3 live-action Spider-Man characters from different eras of Sony and now the Sony Marvel co-production together with multiverse villains versus a film that literally has over 200 different spider variants and goes to multiple Earths because it's animation. It's 2 different films entirely. It's hard to compare and do that.
they're just as good, but for different reasons.
Yeah. I like this comment just because that's the new Metallica album, 72 Seasons. That would take forever.
Yeah,
Like
I don't think I could. I don't think I could do 72 seasons of the Flash fight because I don't think I could do that.
Yeah, Grant would be in a wheelchair.
Oh, give me 1 second. I'm just gonna get some more water. 1 second.
Okay. Ask questions, guys. Ask us some questions. We're here. Maybe not Flash related. Just whatever else you guys want to ask in terms of life, maybe. Or give your thoughts and opinions. We're here for a little bit. Ask away. Okay. 2 questions here. Yeah, it is crazy. It is crazy because they both deal with multiverse. You know. We'll see when he gets back. Do you think Max is going to pick up Superman and Lois? What sucks the most? They didn't pick up Stargirl. Well, Stargirl, I mean, could have happened, but you know, I mean, it's possible that they could, but it's a lot of like changeover stuff because like, actually it's on CW and like I know that it could be done. It's just a lot of it's just work in the back end to kind of get that shit transferred over. He's waiting for him to get back. He might have passed out. Might be asleep right now. Might be what's happening.
I'm back.
Okay. Do you think Max is gonna get picked? I don't. It's possible, and then yeah, it sucks that they didn't pick up Stargirl. That does suck, but you know, it's possible. I just wanted to read this. We don't have to really talk about it because I know we don't want to talk about the Flash, but the idea of like they kill all the villains kill all the people, and Barry has to kill all of them, but Barry doesn't kill though. So like, and then redoing Arrowverse, that would negate all the other shows if that was to happen. But I get your point.
I'm fine with the Flash finale and what we got. So
it's crazy. This movie's coming out 2 weeks before the Flash, and that's true.
Yeah.
Multiverse films. Could these films have more of an impact on the MCU like our Miles gets stuck in the MCU? I mean, no, he wouldn't be live action Miles. We've already seen how that's not how that works. Because were you there?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, your camera's spinning. I don't know what's going on.
Now you're breaking up. You're breaking up for me for some reason.
Am I good now?
Yeah, you're good. Am I good?
Yeah, you're good now. Like we've already seen, because I mentioned to Andy on the phone earlier that when Miles traveled to Spider-Man India's Earth after Gwen went through, Gwen didn't change her appearance. Miles didn't change his appearance. Spider-Punk kept his consistency of look. And we saw live-action Prowler, and we saw Spider-Man PS4. We saw all these things, and they did not change their appearance from them being on another Earth. So,
will we maybe see Miles Morales in animation form? in
Oh,
animation form, but like in the MCU, something like that, with next to Tom. Um,
it could happen probably in Beyond the Spider-Verse, but I don't think it's going to happen in Spider-Man 4. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like it's a separate
oh no,
thing.
not Spider-Man 4. You know, like if
Yeah.
anything, I think that Beyond the Spider-Verse would almost be like Spider-Man No Way Home 3 point, point 5.
Yeah. So I guess
Yes.
yeah. So I think the idea of like could DC do animated movies because of course we have this home releases of like an hour, 15 hour, and 20 that they do a lot of the times, like with the Tomorrowverse now, and
Hmm.
I would love for them to do it. And what inspired me to think that they could pull it off, even though I know it's very different animation style. If you watch the Arkham Origins Batman versus Deathstroke scene, how detailed that animation is. I know it's video game animation, but that was so good. If that was a film and they turned that kind of animation style into a theatrical release film, that would get a lot of money.
Oh, I was fooled. Just thinking, I thought that was live action initially, but
Mm.
I also would love to see more DC animated films theatrically, and not just home release all the time.
Yeah. Thoughts on Schmidt Legacy speculation? I hope we hear more. Yeah, I think at San Diego Comic Con, if they're
I
there, they're
hope an actor is picked.
here. I'm hoping a Superman and a Lois Lane get picked at some
uh,
point. Um, no, I did not start doing the dance. No, I did not. Spectacular. Do, 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 do. I did not do that because at the time when he was brought in, it was a very emotional moment, and his line is so impactful. I'm like, I'm so happy they gave him that line though to tell Miles. Like, imagine if it was a throwaway line that didn't matter, but they made a point for him to step in and go to Miles at this very crucial moment. That was good.
yep.
So the movie yesterday, I loved Across Spider-Verse. It's really good as first, and I can't wait for part 2. Exactly. So good. Who do you think would win, Wonder Woman or Wolverine in a fight? Well, I mean, did Superpower Beatdown do that video? They did something. They did that.
No,
Wolverine fought what?
no. But I mean, I do think Wonder Woman would win.
I think it also depends on what version of Wolverine we're talking about, because that also might determine the fight. But I mean, it'd be an awesome fight to see in live action if DC and Marvel was to do it. Can you guys pitch some Beatles song titles parodies for the superhero films?
I better listen to the Beatles, so I don't even know any.
Yeah. What were your thoughts on Tom getting a fourth Spider-Man film before Andrew? Well, the thing is that Lightning Bolt. The thing is, Toby and Andrew's stuff has been done for a while.
Yeah.
Toby longer than Andrew, but yes, they were brought into No Way Home, but that was not a guarantee they're going to continue. It would be awesome if Sony did,
Yeah.
but they're not.
Yeah. So it's not it's not unfair at all.
Yeah. Like it's the new franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, it would have been cool if Doctor Strange did go to multiple Earths, but then that would drastically change the story. Maybe for the better, maybe not. I don't know. And that's the last one so far in terms of everyone else just kind of talking back to each other.
Yeah, everyone is. You guys clearly need to get into a group chat about.
I mean, I think it's for both of us, not just me.
Yeah.
But like the idea of like,
No. I want it to be cat. Like I'm the bad guy somehow in this.
I'm the bad guy. Isn't that a song? I think.
It's Billie Eilish. I'm
know.
the bad guy.
I mean, I think that the show deserves another season to wrap up because obviously with the fucking cliffhanger apparently. But unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna get lucky.
I'm.
I mean, that'd be the weirdest fucking timeline if that was to happen. But I see
Like,
Fernando.
I'm enjoying this season. So like like if only Gotham Knights gets renewed, I'm like I will feel sad for Superman Lois, but I'm like I will be excited to see more Gotham Knights because I actually do want to see what happens.
Are you excited for Gotham Knights because there's a man whore on there? Is that what that is?
Oh my god, leave Turner alone.
Turner's a man whore.
No, he's a himbo. He's a himbo. That's what we say.
I
He's
don't
a
know what
himbo.
that is. I don't know what that
Him,
is.
it's a male bimbo basically. Like in Nightwing.
He is a dumbass. Yes, I'll give you that. He is the stupidest kid on the planet.
Oh my god.
But man whore.
No, let's be nice. Let's be
No,
nice.
can't be nice to the. But I mean, look, Fernando, one of my mods said that he would love to see Superman and Lois get cancer for Gotham Knights just because it'd be funny. Flash has killed people before. Thoughts? Well, I mean, yeah, but it's called character growth. Imagine if Oliver kept killing all the damn time.
That would be a pretty big list of long list by the time we got to season 8.
Yeah, that book that his father gave him would be like
he would need to buy another
pages onto that shit.
He would need to buy another book. I mean, Flash hasn't killed though on purpose though.
No, Brian, it won't. It's two separate things.
Yeah.
I
think what will ruin the experience is the idea that I think that with the Flash, because again, you look at it as like for me, it's essentially the end of the DCU. So for me, it's like, okay, like, is it a Flash film or is this just a film to end the DCU?
Yeah, it's rebooting or doing something. I literally saw. It's an interesting question because I actually listened to a little bit of a show today with a certain person on there, and I won't say who this person was, but there was a person on this show. They talked about the Flash movie, and then it was mentioned, I've watched all 9 seasons of the Flash. I finished up the show. It just ended up finishing up. And the person said the worst final season ever for a show. And I'm like, no, you clearly didn't watch every single episode then, because there are episodes that are fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a lot of bad in season 9, but like the person, I'm Flash fatigued out because of me watching the final season of Flash. Like, well, then you're not really a comic book fan, because if you're really that Flash fatigued out, then clearly you were spending too much time only focusing on the Flash and not doing anything else outside of with your time. I just thought that was really a really embarrassing statement to say it's the worst final season of a show ever, when literally you had the Oliver episode, you have the completion of the full circle moment, and that whole episode is phenomenal. Besides just that, in the episode, you had some really great moments with Cobalt Blue. Yes, you can have complaints about Red Death and interlude stuff and how some of the other Cobalt Blue stuff was done, but it wasn't complete dumpster fire like some people claim to be. But anyways, what are your thoughts? People are not liking Superman Lois season 3 very much, not getting a lot of Superman on focus. I mean, there is Superman focus. There's a lot of Clark in the show. Eric's video on how he's ready for the season, and I mean, well, that's Eric's opinion. I'm not sitting here.
I will say I actually did watch his video, and I am kind of in agreement with him. I am kind of ready for the season to end. I think what pulls me out of the show, but every now and then is, I think, is the kids' focus. Like, some of their stuff just doesn't really flow as well as they do with the Mannheim stuff and the stuff with Clark and Lois.
Well, the kids stuff is supposed to be. I think it's not intended to be on the same level because it's kid shit. Because literally,
but it takes me out of the show. It takes me out of the experience. It doesn't flow as well. I don't need to be just as good, but I need to kind of have a decent flow for me to kind of be like, because everything, it's kind of like it's almost like switching channels every time we go back and forth.
Well, I will say though, the one thing that I am getting really annoyed by is the fact that Jordan is still a whiny, complaining little baby. Because that's all he does now, is the fact that he keeps mentioning that he can't have Sarah. We get it. It's been a season now. We can move on from this. But Jordan has to be a little crybaby and be a little whiny boy about it. And the thing is that this is the kid who has fucking powers. This is dangerous. Because this kid could kill people. I mean, Jordan is unstable right now with his emotions. Because he gets so worked up, he gets really mad easily. I mean, you saw how he was treating his father throughout this season at points. I mean, he literally could murder people. He could go dark.
I think there's a tad exaggerated. I mean even Jonathan's
no,
been kind of whiny too.
I am being exaggerated, but I'm saying the kid is unstable. That if this is the real world and not a scripted show, and this kid and Jordan was a real person with powers, he could do something really bad that he would regret. Like, there's a possibility that if he was really emotional, he wouldn't have saved Junior and only saved Sarah. There's like it's possible, but I know the show would never do that because they can't recover from something like that. But what I'm saying is that this is a scripted show. There's only certain limitations they can do unless what they would do would break the show. But that's the one thing I wish they would just make Jordan not be the way he is right now and how he's acting. It's really annoying. People are coming in late. What kept me more surprised about in Across Spider-Verse?
Donald Glover.
Yeah, because I think no one. There was no rumor of that at all.
No rumors, no set photos, because it was obviously all done in studio and stuff like that. It was nice, and because I looked around the theater to see how many people recognized him, and they're like, I could hear people whispering like, "Oh my god, he was in Homecoming," or they're like, "Oh my god, that's Troy from Community."
Could it be possible they don't renew either show? Yeah, it's definitely possible. I mean, no DC content whatsoever. There's still DC content. It's just not in TV form. There's comics. And there's plenty of things. There's probably plenty of DC stuff that's probably out there that you guys have never watched. If you've watched everything, applause to you. But I bet there's plenty of stuff that you guys can still go watch.
Like how Jordan hasn't seen The Sandman, for example.
That's true. Yeah. And now I have more free time. Maybe I will.
Yeah, I think you would really love the show. It's very because I know you love I know how much you love beautifully visual shows. Mm-hmm. This is up your alley.
I mean, I think we would both. Obviously, it would be pretty insane. We kind of already answered that one though. I read that one wrong. After maybe someone in the audience said we better not have to wait another 5 years. I mean, no, thank God we don't have to wait another 5 years for part 2.
Next year. Yeah, I mean, I'm hoping at Comic-Con we will get our first at least teaser trailer.
This is something that is so jarring with the show. Yes, Sarah's sister.
Funny.
I think they're in on the joke now.
Yeah.
But also too, I thought it was funny because in that one scene she was in this week's episode, she was in one quick scene in the kitchen. And then she's, someone's going to pick you up in half an hour. So that's the explanation of she's not appearing in the rest of the episode.
That it means that the show did not plan that story. They didn't plan the Lang Cushing family as well.
What the hell, Mia? I thought you liked me. Kidding. I know you're talking about Jordan. Stop telling me I'm a good person. I'm not emotionally unstable. I will end you.
Well, I mean, sometimes you can. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I sometimes get annoyed. Yes. We're not talking the Ezra stuff, but in terms of nobody can play the Flash better, incorrect.
Yeah, I love Ed as a filmmaker, but he's wrong.
Wrong. I was shocked that to learn Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man is in it. Well, yeah. So so archival footage, but yes. So. Hello.
I'm not gonna lie. I am starting to fade a little bit, so I may have to call it night soon. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's fine. I was about to say let's another minute or two, guys, and we're gonna call it.
What are you gonna read tonight? What are you gonna read? Is there something on your shelf?
No. It's actually in there. It's let me see if I can just pull it up on here. What's her name? Leia. It's a Princess Leia novel.
Oh, canon?
Yes.
Cool.
I'm about 100-ish pages into it. It's 400 pages though. It's she's 16 at the time. Can you just load a fucking image? Jesus Christ. Being annoyed. It's that book, Princess of Alderaan. And I've had it for a while. It's one of the books I've actually had for a long time before I started getting back into reading. I bought it a Leia book, not realizing I was going to start reading. But yeah, but They should make a Spider-Verse movie that takes place entirely on the cobwebs of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade and Heal Before Con. No,
I have no idea what that reference is. So,
that's funny. I think the Cure Mannheim gave PM might have effects later on. Yeah, I think so too. I think there's something's going to come up with that. I think that's pretty much everyone just kind of talking to themselves.
Yeah, we're just.
Yes, Chillstorm's my nemesis. Yes, every single day. I wake up hating Chillstorm with a passion. So, what are the chances that Kevin Feige could make the Miles live action movie happen? I don't think so, because it said Sony specifically. It wasn't like a Sony Marvel. Because like when they announced Sony's in development of it, they would have said Marvel. I think.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I think also Amy Pascal. I think she, again, because she was very cryptic about it. So it wouldn't shock me if they later on, reveal that, maybe because Kevin wasn't there, maybe they wanted to reveal together. Oh yeah, this is actually a co-production. You're gonna see him in the MCU or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I do feel like we're getting closer to being done with Tom as Spider-Man. So like I think we have Spider-Man 4 and maybe one more movie with him. And I think after that he's done. And that could pass on the way to Miles, because we know Miles is in the MCU already.
Yeah. So we'll see about that. But all right, guys, I think we're gonna call a little early. Then obviously he's tired and all that. But as you guys know, we always end on the same note. We gotta play the Gracie clip. We gotta play it. So let's play it, guys, and let's get the hell out of here.
Metas killed your parents, Gracie. They all deserve to die.
Don't believe him, Grace.
Could you imagine Miguel and Cicada together? They would just like they would stand and scream at each other for hours.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying the way they're making Lex appear so fucking late in the season, but whatever. It's stupid. Anyways, we'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.